Welcome back, everyone. This is Mondo All Day, back with another video. And in this video, we'll be taking a look at Batman. This is going to be Batman from the Detective Comics number 27. As always, I'll be talking about the figure itself in terms of the articulation, sculpture, and paint, and if it's worth your purchase or not. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button to our support channel, put the key up to date, and watch videos like this. So let's take a look at front of the box. This side, the back, the other side, top, and bottom. Alright, now let's take a look at the figure outside the box. As always, you do come with the card. The front of the card looks like for Batman. The back of the card. It comes with accessories. It comes with this, whatever this tool is. I have no idea what this is. But it comes with this tool. A little flimsy, but a little detail on there. It does come with extra hands. It comes with these like weird claw hands. There's two of them. So this is going to be the left one. And the right one. And the two chop hands or straight hands, we're going to call them. They're kind of puffy looking. I don't know what camera can pick it up, but you can kind of see what I mean, like a little puffy. And of course, it comes with a regular puck stand. Now let's take a look at the articulation on this figure. So head, left, right is there. Up, down, shoulder, bicep, elbow, wrist. There we go, wrist, torso. Ooh, pretty good torso. Swivel. Leg, knee, ankle, and last but not least, toes as well. So overall, the articulation on this figure is actually really good overall. Now let's talk about this figure because, man, McFarlane, sometimes you do some stuff and I'm just like, oh, really? No one checked this? No one realized, like, hey, wait a minute, something is off here? Which I'll talk about in a bit. Just give me a moment out here. But the headpiece looks really, really nice. First off, the white eyes. You know me, I'm a sucker for white eyes. Boom, here we have the white eyes. Then you have the grin on there, the painted lips. Looks really, really nice. Painted cheeks. And looks like, I don't know if mine is just all dirty, but looks like he has like a little bit of a mustache on here. Looks nice. And then you got the really, really, really pointy ears on there. And then here's a cow. The cow itself is pretty plain looking, not much to it, but that headpiece on the front looks really nice. The facial expression looks really mean and menacing, and I like that. So, really good headpiece. It is a one solid piece, so you can't really, well, I'll show you with another figure, but you get what I mean. It's one just piece. Now, my gripe on this headpiece is not the headpiece itself. I think it looks really good, which I'm sure you figured out what it is. If not, right there. Look at that gap right here. McFarlane. Why didn't you see this? Really? Because if you want to cover it up, you kind of have to have it like this, leaning forward. So he's always kind of having a head facing down. So you can't have him look straight because if he does, it's going to see the gap. Now some of you may say, well, Mondo, why don't you just have it, the torso go back to look forward? But it's going to look like that. So it's... You see what I mean? So, but if you want to have them like standing up straight and you want to avoid that gap, you kind of have to have it like this, looking down, right? Because when you have it straight forward, huge gap. And I'll compare it to another figure. You can see what I mean in terms of this hell gap here. So that is a bummer because once you see it, you're like, oh, man. And you can see the joint on there too. So it's just makes it even worse. But the headpiece itself, it looks good. I like the headpiece, but just the gap. Oof, the gap is just horrendous. I'm sorry. It is noticeable. Then you have here the arms. Very muscle definition. You got the shoulders, the bicep, the tricep. You can see here, right? Just very spandex-like. Then you got the fist on here, the purple fist. It's a light purple fist. I do like how it's kind of like baggy a little bit right there. Also present on the other side as well, too. Same thing, very muscle tone arm. You can see the shoulder muscle right there. Then you have here the upper body. Again, very muscle tone. You can see the abdomen. on there. You can see the chest, and of course, a very, very small painted Batman logo. But the good seller of this particular figure is going to be, of course, that whole cape, which it is a wired cape, and it's cloth, but it's like a plastic leather, because on this side it's a regular type of cloth, but on this side it has like a bit of a shine to it. You can see perfectly what I mean, right? And of course the wired, so you can actually pose it however you want, right? That's pretty cool. So you want to have it something like this, almost like in the image of the card right there, right? You can have it look down so you don't have that gap, but if you want to have it forward, well, the gap is there. But here's the cape. Really cool, nice looking cape. I'm not a huge fan of it, the capes. I do like them here and there, and I think McFarlane did a really good job on this one, so the cape looks really, really good. And so, overall, the upper body on this figure, it's good. Very simple, clean looking. It's very spandex-like, of course, Batman. The headpiece looks really good, but the gap is just... it's one minus point, because the gap, once you see it, it's there. And in order for you to avoid it, like I said, you're going to have it like this. And I'll compare it to another figure. You can see what I mean when you have a Batman with a solid neck attached to the head. You can do it, but you have to alter the head or something. So, there's that. Does he do squats? Oops, let's see if I can do it. There you go. Somewhat, yeah, there you go. They're pretty firm squats, right? I mean, glutes. And then you have the hamstrings on there. Not much to it. Somewhat muscle definition here on the hamstrings. Here is the back of the boot. Really, really huge caps. Here's the side of the boot and the leg. Pretty clean looking, not much to it. Here's the front, right? And here is going to be the thighs. Similar to the rest of the body, very just muscle tone. And of course, having that base paint of that light blue paint, which looks nice. I like it. I know there's a platinum figure. For the particular figure, I'll have it to the right. You can see the platinum one. And I have not found the platinum one. Am I looking for it? Not really. I mean, if I find it at the store, I might get it. If not, no big deal for me. But here it is. The legs are just very, very clean, plain looking. You got the underwear on here. Then you have, of course, the utility belt. Nice, bright yellow paint. Right? You can see the separation of the utility belt, of the little accessories, the pockets. Obviously, there's some round. Usually, they're more of like square, but here you go. And so, overall, the figure itself, it looks nice, it looks good, looks clean. Classic looking Batman figure. And I think McFarlane nailed the look of it. Of course, you got the accessories and the wired cape. I think it looks really good. But the drawback, it's gonna be that neck. Ugh, that gap on the neck, just... It is a bummer. It really is a bummer, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So, the figure itself looks nice, but that gap on the neck is just it can be a deal breaker for some, and I completely understand. But of course, the main question is it really worth it? Should you go out and get this figure? So for the price of $23 for what you're getting, I would say, yeah, I think it's a good deal. One, you get the wired cape, and from my understanding, wired cape costs a bit more, so you get that wired cape. Number two, you get accessory, you get 2 extra pairs of hands, and you get that whatever, that light blue tool, I don't know what it's called, and you get a nice, clean looking, classic looking Batman figure. I think for $23, I think it's a good deal for it. I understand the whole neck gap. If that's a bit of an issue for you, then you might want to skip it, because once you see it, and when I compare it to another figure, the whole neck gap, you'll see where it's a bit of a problem. Apart from the price, so what I think about the figure itself. As mentioned, the figure itself, nice, clean-looking figure for Batman, and the wired cape. You can really pose and customize it to whatever you want to do with Batman. So, I really like this figure. So, overall, what do I give this particular figure? I give it a thumbs up for me. For the price, for what you're getting, and it's included, I think it's a good deal. Even though I do have my issues, which is a bit of an issue. For $23, I cannot hate on it. It's a great-looking figure for McFarlane, for the Batman Detective Comics Batman 27. And so, for the price, I would say it's a good deal. But the whole neck gap, if that bothers you, definitely skip this. Here we have 2 classic-looking Batman figures. We have Batman Nightfall, and of course, the classic-looking Batman figure. is really tall compared to this one. And so they're both spandex, so they're all just very clean, plain looking. They both look really good, but I prefer this kind of neck where you have that swivel on here, right? You can actually do this as opposed to one piece. The one piece neck and headpiece design, it's fine. It can work well if done right. And I say if done right, which I'll show you in a bit, but nonetheless, two classic looking Batman figures, Nightfall and Detective Comics. Here we have Batman from the JLA Build-A-Figure for Plastic Man and, of course, Detective Comics Batman. As I mentioned regarding the neck, right? Regarding the neck. Here's a perfect example. Here's a figure that has a whole one-piece neck, right? You can see perfectly, right, what I mean. This particular figure, I think it's done right. It still has that gap, but look at the gap. Look at the size of that thing. It's very, very, very small. You can't really see it. The moment you just move it just a little bit, boom, it's gone, right? Compared to this one, where you really, really have to move it down a lot just to hide that gap. And so I'm showing you because this is how you do the whole one-piece headpiece, right? The neck and the headpiece are one piece. This is how you do it, right? This is how you do it, McFarlane. All right? Not like that, like this. And that's why I said, once you see this whole neck piece and you compare something like this, you can really see how you're like, McFarlane, how can you miss this? But it is what it is, right? So, anyways, JLA Batman next to Detective Comics Batman. Here we have Riddler DC Classics next to the classic-looking Batman. And I think this works very well. They both have the whole spandex looks to it. And I think the color choices look very, very well. So, boom, here you go. So if you're wondering how this particular classic-looking Batman figure will look to a more classic-looking Riddler, there you have it. Here we have another DC Classics figure. It's going to be Penguin, the Collector's Edition one, next to a more classic-looking Batman Detective Comics. Again, similar to the Riddler, also present here. They work very, very well. And having that bright colors, I think they work very, very well. So, we're hoping to get Two-Face Classic figure, maybe a Joker Classic-looking figure. Let me know, which one do you guys want to see more classic? I know I want Two-Face, of course, Joker. I don't know. I'm trying to think of all the other figures that I would want that's more Batman DC Classics. Here we have the Target exclusive gold label Batgirl Orphan figure next to the classic looking Batman. And I wanted to bring her because here we have another wired Batman, or not Batman, but another wired figure with the wired cape, right? But this time, this has the cloth cape that usually McFarlane uses, I don't know, my camera can pick it up, right? And here is the back side of it. For this one, though, you know, let me do this better. There you go. You can see this one, it's a different type of material of cloth. And also, the back is a lot shinier. So this one, you can see through it a lot more. This one, you still can, but not a whole lot. But having that nice shiny look to it, I think it really does pop in terms of the cape. So if you were to ask me which of these two do I prefer in terms of the cape, honestly, I would go for something like this. I think this looks way much better than this. This is cool, don't get me wrong, but this definitely pops a lot more. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with me this figure? Do you plan on purchasing this figure? Leave it in the comment section below. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on support channel, to keep up to date and watch videos like this. This includes an overview of Batman from the Detective Comics number 27 figure, and on to the next one.